Good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock noon. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL's top story this hour. It's day 15 of the government shutdown, and Utah advocates say it's making food insecurity concerns even worse than they already are. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live to explain. Heather?
Maria, with some federal workers furloughed or missing paychecks and others feeling unsure whether their federal food benefits will continue during the shutdown, more people are expected to turn to food banks for assistance. Glenn Bailey, executive director with the Crossroads Urban Center, says it's adding to the food insecurity they were already seeing due to things like inflation and the rising cost of housing.
We're not necessarily seeing an increase due to the government shutdown yet, but the longer it goes on, certainly we will, either people who don't have jobs or people who are losing benefits that they would otherwise have access to.
Bailey says they saw nearly 14,000 people visiting their food banks just last month, and they expect that to keep increasing. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Food insecurity is being compounded by the fact that many people have been unsure whether their federal food assistance benefits will continue.
It's a real rough impact to see. We are getting a lot of calls for people who need food help.
Neil Rickard, child nutrition advocate for Utahns Against Hunger, says SNAP benefits are expected to continue for now, but
it might be impacted at a later date if the shutdown continues, and that, frankly, would be disastrous.
Meanwhile, Rickard says WIC, which provides nutritional assistance for women, infants, and children, is only funded in Utah through the end of the month, which he says will be catastrophic for families who rely on it. It's that time of year for Medicare open enrollment, and this year will look a little different.
Anyone 65 years or older can sign up for Medicare, even if they're still working. That's from Vice President of Mountain America's Wealth Management Team, Chad Woodups, who says there are some misconceptions about Medicare, especially once people start signing up for Parts B and C.
Part B, however, is the healthcare piece of it, which does have a premium. So some people believe that there will be no cost for Medicare because it's a government program. They paid into the system, but there is still a premium to be paid for that Part B.
Hospital costs are covered under original Medicare, but once you add Part B, which pertains to healthcare, and Part C for medications, that's when people have higher premiums, which are going up about $100 a year for 2026. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
More Utah students are reaching out for help, and new numbers show more emergencies are being stopped before they turn tragic. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live with details. Eric?
Maria, so far this year, nearly 25,000 chats have come through the Safe UT app, most from students looking for support. Counselors say those messages led to more than 340 emergency interventions over the past year, moments when lives or school safety were at risk. And Holly Jelm with Safe UT says one tip even stopped a student from bringing a gun to school.
A student submitted a tip based on something that they had seen on social media about a classmate bringing a weapon to school the next day. We passed it along to the school, and they found out that student was struggling and actually did find a gun in their backpack.
Holly says reports of suicidal thoughts, bullying, and potential campus threats have all jumped this year, showing that more people are speaking up instead of staying silent. She says that's exactly what the program was built for, catching problems before they turn into tragedies. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. There are cracks forming in the peace deal out of the Middle East. Israel has now closed one of the aid crossings in and out of Gaza, claiming Hamas is not holding up their end of the ceasefire deal.
Just one day after brokering a historic hostage exchange and ceasefire, Karen Travers pressing Trump on the deadline he'll put on Hamas to give up its arms.
A reasonable period of time, pretty quickly. A reasonable period of time.
Trump's warning comes as Israel accuses Hamas of violating its ceasefire agreement, failing to return all bodies of hostages who were killed.
ABC's Ian Pannell says some loved ones of those hostages are outraged.
We saw a few of the hostage families still waiting for closure, and they want Israel and America to not forget that their loved ones have still not been returned. Today, the first funeral for one of those captives, his parents waiting over 2 years to finally bury their son.
Israel is also claiming one of the 4 bodies handed over last night does not belong to a hostage. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. President Trump announced a new strike targeting a boat off the coast of Venezuela.
Certainly going to contribute to rising tensions. The president announced on social media that the United States moved forward with yet another deadly strike on an alleged drug boat off the coast of Venezuela. The president saying that 6 people on board were killed. This is the 5th strike that the U.S. has carried out. And we just heard from Venezuela, their foreign ministry, responding to this, calling it a pure violation of international rights by the U.S.
That is ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott reporting. First look traffic. Ricky, the rain's coming down again.
The rain is here, and it's slowing speeds on I-15 between downtown and Murray. No accidents, but again, lights and wipers on. There's some water on the roads. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Cooler weather. What a relief, unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill's going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and Advanced Windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Thank you for joining me for Midday. Recapping our top story, Utah advocates claim the government shutdown is making food insecurity concerns even worse, and they are worried how Utahns will get by. KSL News Time 12:08. College enrollment is on the rise here in Utah. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
This fall, many of our colleges hit milestones in their enrollment. The U has almost 40,000 students, the largest incoming class in the school's history. Salt Lake Community College announced an almost 15% increase from last year, a record for the school. Salt Lake Community College President Greg Peterson says this growth in new and returning students reflects the college's continued commitment to creating an environment where students can thrive. And this is opposite of what many colleges are seeing across the country. Earlier this year, NBC News reported a 5% decline in college enrollment nationally.
Meantime, a new state audit says Utah may not be banning enough books. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla has more.
At least 22 books in high schools across the state were reviewed after a concerned legislator brought them forward. State auditors say 95% of those books had sexual content and 73% had nudity. Explicit language was also a big concern, and the audit says more than 800 swears were used. Some titles include Wicked by Gregory Maguire, The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and Jesus Land by Julia Shears. The Deseret News reports auditors are now recommending lawmakers consider requiring schools to have a policy for selecting books. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
The Uinta School District says they've already counted 25 violations this school year where drivers ignore school bus stop signs and red flashing lights. That's almost half of the total from last year. Cynthia Shiner is a district employee and a former school bus driver, and she recalls a confrontation with a driver that frequently went around those stop signs.
When I honked my horn at him, time, he stopped his truck and got out and was not very happy and said this was a stupid bus stop. And I said, no, sir, stupid is putting children's lives at danger.
Most school buses now have cameras that record the violations. The fine for ignoring the bus stop sign is $1,000 for the first offense, and it goes up from there. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have a lot of rain coming down in the valley and wind, too. Right now, it's been slowing speeds on I-15, especially northbound between 7200 South and downtown, as well as east and westbound I-80 between the I-15 junction and Foothill and the mouth of Parley's. And there's a lot of water on the road. You can see the spray coming up off of the vehicles. So you may want to slightly reduce your speeds for the current driving conditions if you are driving through this weather. Now, we've also had an accident called out eastbound Highway 189 Provo Canyon in the vicinity of Vivian Park. I just didn't see it, and traffic is getting through the area just fine. We have the final cleanup of a crash in Ogden. This is northbound Harrison Boulevard at 36th Street. It's been in that left lane of travel. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Wet weather back in the forecast today, 57 the high with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Overnight, 44 scattered showers, 52 tomorrow. Wraparound moisture could keep showers in play. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's raining in downtown Salt Lake City and 54 degrees. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, we will chat with the state elections office about the GOP's move to get rid of the Independent Redistricting Committee. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. It's sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Weather is definitely turned on us. That means the holidays are right around the corner. And if you were thinking about taking off those extra pounds before all of your relatives get here for Christmas, hey, this is a great time. I want to tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Right now they have a fall special where you can save $200. So this is a great plan. It's great for those people who just don't have time to exercise for an hour a day. It's great for those people who need just something simple. And it's great for those folks who just want an all-natural plan. They don't want to be bothered with medications, the high cost of medications, and the worry about side effects. Now, this plan helped me lose more than 40 pounds. It's Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's just strategically uses a combination of foods to help you drop the weight fast. And you know, if those pounds come off quickly, you're more likely to stick with the plan. Plus, they have a great app, and it keeps you accountable, and it also helps you reach out and ask questions or voice any concerns at any time. Gives you a 1-minute inspirational video and just all the resources you need. I've lost more than 40 pounds. Many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. Wouldn't that be great before the holidays? Learn how to save $200 now at slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a no. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call tow cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
KSL News Time 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
local food banks say food insecurity in Utah has already been on the rise, but the longer the government shutdown continues, they anticipate even more people to seek food assistance. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, open enrollment for Medicare starts today, and your premium is estimated to increase by about $100 a year. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Rain in the valley, slowing speeds on I-15 and I-80 in the Salt Lake County area. I took a look at the cameras in the higher elevations, and I'm seeing light snow flurries up around Alta in Little Cottonwood Canyon. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Another round of rain today, then drying out for the big football weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
And a rainy 54 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Lawmakers in the Senate will vote for a 9th time this afternoon on a measure to end the government shutdown. But Democrats and Republican leaders don't appear to be any closer to a funding fix 2 weeks after the shutdown began. Here's ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
Senate Republican Majority Leader John Thune.
Democrats are dug in.
Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer.
Republican leaders, especially Speaker Johnson, continue to dig in.
Thune says not even this would budge Dems.
Not even the prospect of military families going without a paycheck.
Schumer says Republicans are on vacation 3 weeks now.
As if they can make the issue go away by letting House Republicans hide.
Democrats offer to talk. Republicans say there's nothing to negotiate.
The Trump administration continues to step up immigration operations across the country. Los Angeles County officials declaring a state of emergency due to ICE raids that have impacted communities.
The one LA County supervisor who opposed declaring a state of emergency and represents more conservative areas of the county says states of emergency should be reserved for times of life and death, like wildfires. But the other supervisors voting in favor, saying a state of emergency is warranted. LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn voted in favor.
We have residents afraid to leave their homes. I have constituents contacting my office because their family members never came home.
The state of emergency will allow for, among other things, rent relief for those who have fallen behind on rent due to ICE raids. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Days after a ceasefire began between Hamas and Israel, all living hostages were freed. Israel is accusing Hamas of violating the ceasefire deal by not returning the remains of all 28 dead hostages. Israel has shut off the Rafah crossing today, restricting aid into Gaza. The New York State Department of Health confirming a case of locally acquired chikungunya on Long Island. It marks the first case of the mosquito-borne virus locally acquired in New York and the first in the U.S. since 2019. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Some of Utah's GOP leaders are gathering signatures for a ballot initiative that would get rid of Prop 4, which required the state to create an independent redistricting commission. Cambria Cantrell with Lieutenant Governor's Office is joining me now live. Thanks for being with me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So tell us, what requirements do the GOP have to meet to certify a ballot initiative?
Yeah, so the main ones are that they need signatures from 4% of active registered voters. And then in addition to that, they need to get signatures from at least 26 of the 29 Senate districts.
So how does this potential ballot initiative negate what's already happening in the courts with Prop 4 right now?
So I would say it doesn't really negate what's happening in the courts. They'll continue to do their job. Our job here in the Lieutenant Governor's office is just to have clarity for voters so that the election process can run smoothly.
Right. So when would this potentially impact elections? Not this next year, right?
Yeah. So the main thing is that we need maps to have elections so people know what districts to run in and everything. So the time frame for the initiative and referendum will be tight. We're still nailing down the specifics. But yeah, we do need maps for the 2026 elections.
Okay, I appreciate your time. Anything you'd like to add about this? Does this cause a lot of confusion for you guys?
We're definitely busy trying to work out the details, but as I said, we're just going to do our best so that the election process runs smoothly for all the voters in the state.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. That is Cambria Cantrell with Lieutenant Governor's Office joining me there. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
Wet roads in the valley, and there may be a lot of spray on the freeways if you're traveling there from the rain that we're receiving. In fact, we've had slower speeds on I-15, especially from Murray into the North Salt Lake area. And we also have a small accident northbound I-15 after 6 North. The vehicles are out of traffic over to the shoulder. Again, very wet driving conditions, so you want to adjust your speeds for what we're seeing out there right now. So that's the only accident we have on the Valley freeways at this time. If you're going to higher elevations, only the first signs of light flurries on in Little Cottonwood Canyon up around Alta. So even though the rain is hitting the valley, we're not exactly seeing the snowfall come to the mountains at this time. The road is wet. Roads are wet in the canyons, but very, very, you can navigate them very well. Even with the wet driving conditions, there are no other problems. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts with a California cold front today. 57 will be the high with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially around the lunch hour. 52 on Thursday, scattered showers, especially in the morning. 60, partly cloudy, drying things out on Friday. Saturday, big time game expected, and the weather's going to cooperate. Sunshine for Saturday afternoon, high of 64. 71 on Sunday, mostly sunny, breezy out of the south. Those breezy winds will usher in another storm system, so slight chance for showers on Monday, mostly cloudy skies, 61. Will drop off to 58, partly cloudy on Tuesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's raining 54 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets at this hour, seeing a lot of numbers in the green. Positive numbers this afternoon. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Everybody knows that exterior remodeling salespeople are all about the high-pressure sell. Am I right? Windows, siding, gutters, those suckers are going to twist your arm and get you to buy, or they won't leave your house at night. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and I want you to know we don't have high-pressure cells. In fact, we don't even have salespeople. Nope, we have estimators. That's a huge difference. Estimators are trained to look at the entire scope of the project, to see and know if there are any problems, like rotten wood, wood-borne insects, or construction issues specific to your house or your neighbors. Salespeople are more concerned about playing those silly price games. Buy one, get one free, sign today and get 40% off, as if they didn't just jack the price up to give you a fake discount. RGS Exteriors estimators are going to give you a great quote. No games, no tricks, no nonsense. Call RGS Exteriors to quote your exterior project. Our number is 801-280-3110, or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's rgsutah.com.
This fall, wrap yourself and everyone on your gift list in the original luxury. A blanket from Minky Couture. Perfect for relaxing, watching the game, or making someone's day. Stock up now for the holidays and give the best gift ever. Use code KSL50 for 50% off your entire order. Minky Couture, the original luxury Minky blanket and home of the best gift ever. Minky Couture and MinkyCouture.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
There it is, the growl. It's time to give out another Cougar keyword. It's your chance to win a pair of tickets to this Saturday's rivalry game, which you can listen to right here on the legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio. The keyword this hour is roar. Text the word roar right now to 57500 for your chance to win. Again, that's roar, R-O-A-R, to 57500. Increase your chances of winning by listening during the next hour at 1:20 for the next Cougar keyword. Watching Utah's money. The Dow is currently up by 34 points. It sits at 46,304. S&P 500 up by 24, and the NASDAQ, it's up by 130 points.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
Red Cross brought relief supplies.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
How does a soccer club born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Well, the roads are soaked and soggy in parts of the Wasatch Front, including I-15, where the rain has definitely slowed speeds from South Salt Lake to downtown and into North Salt Lake. We do have a small accident out of traffic northbound to I-15 after 6 North. It's over to the left shoulder, not causing any delay. Be aware the road is still closed due to a water main break westbound 33rd South between 1100 and 1300 East. Those westbound lanes are going to be closed for quite some time, so plan an alternate route. Put your energy into the fight song, not fighting for parking. You win when you take UTA to the game. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Tracking a California cold front today. That's going to drop temperatures into the mid-50s with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially midday. 44 overnight, cloudy with a chance for showers. We keep showers in the forecast Thursday, high of only 52. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story this hour. And it is KSL Sports. The Delta Center is expected to be extra loud tonight for the Mammoths' regular season home opener. There are hundreds of new seats with a lot more still to come. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
Tonight, the Mammoth will be playing in front of a fully unobstructed lower bowl with 1,100 new seats for the very first time in the regular season. Smith Entertainment Group executive Jim Olson tells me all the extra screaming fans should provide a big boost for the home team.
It definitely helps with the whole experience and the noise, and you know, we're a very steep venue right on top of the ice, and the players notice it, they feel it, and it gives us a great home advantage.
And this home advantage is only expected to grow over the next couple of years. After this season ends, SEG plans to renovate one end of the upper bowl, then the other end the following summer. Right now, there's 12,400 unobstructed hockey seats, but by 2027, there will be close to 17,000. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Fanatics general manager of the Utah team store, Brian Lee, says hundreds of fans have been coming in every day to get merchandise, but mostly those fans are after those sweaters.
They just want all of it, right? It's really hard to, I mean, obviously jerseys have been the number one, and then anything that's really the Fanatics Pro Authentic, all the on-ice stuff, that's always also been very popular.
Lee says it was busy before the official team name, mascot were announced, but it's gotten even crazier since the Mammoth was finalized. We will be streaming live at a block party tonight just outside Broadcast House and across the street from the Delta Center for the Mammoth home opener. Join Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News for all the fun. That begins at 3. The group that led the effort to create an independent redistricting commission in Utah is reacting to the GOP's effort to get rid of Prop 4 through a voter initiative and referendum. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson begins our team coverage.
Better Boundaries Executive Director Elizabeth Rasmussen says the GOP's move took her by surprise.
We're a little concerned about the Utah GOP's efforts to undo the will of the people right now.
She tells inside sources ignoring or trying to change Prop 4 that created the redistricting commission is disrespectful.
The group of people in power are deciding to ignore a large number of Utahns who already spoke through the ballot box.
She says if the GOP can get enough signatures this fall, lawmakers will get to vote on the initiative in their session that starts in 2026. And then she says the future of a new congressional map becomes unclear. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
The Utah Republican Party chair says he and others want the initiative passed because they view Prop 4 as a move towards direct democracy rather than a republic. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis continues our team coverage.
GOP Chair Robert Axson questions if voters really knew what Prop 4 did when it narrowly passed back in 2018. And GOP leaders have pointed out the Utah Constitution gives lawmakers the authority to redraw the state's congressional maps.
We embrace the fact that we are a republic, and we benefit from having individuals, Utahns, men and women, who are elected and accountable.
Axson says they're using the initiative process built into state law to let voters decide if limiting the constitutional role of the state legislature is appropriate. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. The government shutdown continues as Democratic and Republican leaders accuse each other of being responsible for it. Here's ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
Senate Republican Majority Leader John Thune.
Democrats are dug in.
Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer.
Republican leaders, especially Speaker Johnson, continue to dig in.
Thune says not even this would budge Dems.
Not even the prospect of military families going without a paycheck.
Schumer says Republicans are on vacation 3 weeks now.
As if they can make the issue go away by letting House Republicans hide.
Democrats offer to talk. Republicans say there's nothing to negotiate.
House Speaker Mike Johnson was asked if there will be a point when he thinks Republicans will put another clean continuing resolution on the House floor.
I think appropriators want to get back to work. I know every House Republican does. But we've got to get the lights turned back on, and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats need to vote to do that so we can get back to regular legislative session.
Senate is expected to vote for a 9th time on the funding bill this afternoon. First look traffic. What's happening with the roads, Ricky? A lot of rain out there.
A lot of rain. We are soaked and soggy on a lot of the valley freeways. One small accident, northbound I-15 after 6 North at about 10th North. It's out of traffic on the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time 12:35. Well, the holidays are coming, and that gets us all thinking about what our house looks like when the relatives are coming over. And if you've been thinking it's time to update your windows, they're a little drafty, or maybe they just aren't what makes your home the $1 million home that it's worth, you want to hear about Peach Windows and Doors. Peach is a trusted name in windows and doors for luxury homes, remodels, and new home builds. These guys are great. You'll sit down with them and they'll, just talk you through the things that you could actually do to make your home, more modern or more efficient, more energy efficient for sure. They have a contemporary look with larger glass and slim frame windows. They also have those wonderful European style windows that tilt and turn, make them so easy to clean. They also have beautiful entry doors and patio doors, French doors. They glide just so smoothly. And they can add the final touch with window coverings, including the popular motorized custom roller shades that you can open and close with your phone. Visit Peach Windows and Doors. You can stop by their Salt Lake showroom and see what real window replacement looks like. Or you can call for a free home visit at 801-566-1255 or find out more information at peachwindowsanddoors.com.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Attention Jazz Nation, the long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. Utah Mammoth will play their home opener tonight in a newly renovated Delta Center. KSL News Time 1237. A local nonprofit is making sure no one's best friend goes hungry. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera reports.
Every other Sunday, the Street Dog Crew of Utah rolls up to Pioneer Park. Van packed with food for pets of people struggling to get by. Director Shell Hilton King says the need has quadrupled in the last year, and the work goes far beyond the food itself.
There's a real misconception out there that unsheltered folks do not take care of animals, that they're abused, they're neglected, and that simply isn't true. They take care of their animals. That is their reason for getting up.
Hilton King says while human services are expanding, resources for pets remain scarce. Her team's goal is simple: keep pets with their people and out of overcrowded shelters. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
We've had 2 shootings in Salt Lake County in 2 days. Police are now looking for 2 cars they say were involved in a shooting last night on State Street between Midvale and Sandy. Unified Police Sergeant Amy Ray says this happened between about 8400 and 90th South at around 540.
We have our detectives out, obviously pulling footage to try to track down plate numbers of those vehicles. And then those detectives will go back and try to make contact with those individuals. But we do not have anyone that's gone into a hospital and reported injuries, nor do we have, anyone who's come forward and either said they were the shooter or the victim in this case.
They are asking anyone with video footage or information to give them a call. Sandy police are also still looking for the person who shot and killed a man near Main Street Park Monday night. Police say 39-year-old Josh Pechtel died at the hospital after someone shot and robbed him on the outskirts of the park. Investigators say they believe the victim and the shooter knew each other and there is no other threat to the public. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America, and turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
A small accident northbound I-15 after 6 North. It's out of traffic on the left shoulder. It has not caused any kind of delay. In fact, What did cause slowdowns was the rain that came through and just soaked the road. Right now we're seeing slightly reduced speeds on both sides of I-15 in the Bountiful Centerville area. So anywhere where we have rainfall, you could see speeds being a little slow, but overall, not too bad of a drive on the Valley freeways. Again, a reminder, in the Mill Creek, South Salt Lake area, 33rd South westbound lanes remain closed and will be closed up to 48 hours due to this water main break between 1100 and 1300 East. Your fall one-tank trip starts in Cedar City, Parowan, and Bryan Head. Scenic byways and highways, live theater, mountain biking, ATVing, vibrant art, and downtown eateries. Visit cedarcity.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecasting a cold front to drop through the state. Look for a high of only 57 today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. 44 overnight, cloudy, chance for showers. 52 is all we get for a high on Thursday, scattered showers, and then drying things out on Friday, 60 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Okay, looks like the rain has stopped for just a minute, but it has cooled things down even more. 53 degrees right now in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, we will talk with KSL Sports Utah Mammoth insider Cole Bagley about the Mammoth home opener. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but can't because you're in pain? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help you get out of pain.
I just had difficulty walking when I had the pain. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Are you buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let foot, knee, or back pain get in the way of you staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week, pain-free.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you with high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Walk-ins are always welcome. Make this the year you get active and healthy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
You worked hard for your 401k. But if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
KSL News Time 1245, the 3 things you need to know this hour first.
The group Better Boundaries is calling the GOP's latest move to get rid of the Independent Redistricting Commission disrespectful to voters. I'm KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson.
Second, police are looking for the person who shot a car while both they and the victim were driving down State Street between Midvale and Sandy last night. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
A new accident northbound I-215's West Belt. It is out of traffic. Actually on the southbound side, rather. As you're approaching the I-80 junction, look for that over to the right shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold front today with lingering showers tomorrow, then dry for the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 53 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A vote is expected in the Senate this afternoon on a clean funding bill to end the government shutdown. It's also likely to fail again, with lawmakers at odds over restoring health care benefits clawed back in the GOP megabill. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Speaker Johnson said the work of the House of Representatives is done, and he sent his chamber home, and they haven't been here for 3 weeks. So the House is out, meaning they couldn't take up any deal that was struck in the Senate unless they were to come back. So if there is legislation on those Obamacare tax credits or any other health care related deal that gets workshopped in the Senate and passed, right now the House isn't here to take it up.
Israel says it's identified 3 bodies of hostages returned Tuesday. The 4th body did not match DNA of any hostages. Israel closing the Rafah crossing today in Gaza, limiting aid, accusing Hamas of failing to return all dead hostages under the ceasefire agreement. On Wall Street, stocks are up on positive earnings reports today. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Utah Mammoth will play their home opener tonight. KSL Sports Utah Mammoth insider Cole Bagley joins me live. And Cole, this is a fun day for you.
Yeah, it's never a bad day when you get to watch a game of the National Hockey League, especially a game here at Delta Center in the state of Utah. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
So tell us how the lineup is looking.
In terms of the roster or
yes,
the
go
events?
ahead.
Yeah, so Utah made some big changes in the offseason. They were able to acquire a very good and young goal scorer in J.J. Paterka that's going to be playing on the second line with Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. And, of course, you have your stars up on the top line with the captain, Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, Barrett Hayden. And the forward lines kind of progress on from there. And then defensively, again, this offseason was all about getting stronger and adding more depth, especially on the blue line, because last year they were faced with a lot of injuries that forced them to look at waivers and to sign a few guys that didn't end up working out and make an emergency trade and call some young prospects up. So they're able to add guys like Nate Schmidt to their lineup, and then they were able to sign one of their young prospects, Dmitry Simashev, to his entry-level contract, and he made the team at a training camp. So on paper, this is a team that should make the playoffs, but obviously they've still got to play the games and go out and earn it.
Okay, so tell us about the events that are happening today.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. SCG and Ryan Smith want to make a big deal about opening night. They did last year with, Shabuzi came to town, and there's all these live events very similar today. There's going to be a party out on the plaza with games and I believe live music and giveaways, stuff like that. So I believe that starts at about 4 or 4:30, and then of course the puck drop will be at 7:30 o'clock tonight. We will be able to be introduced to some new video intros. I believe the mascot is going to be revealed tonight. So there's a lot of reasons, in addition to watching the hockey game, there's a lot of reasons to go to Delta Center this afternoon and this evening.
So is the Delta Center sold out?
I believe it should be. I'm not entirely certain on exact numbers, but if it's not sold out, I would be incredibly surprised. Utah has fallen in love with the sport of hockey, and the Mammoth have become a fan favorite. So it should be sold out, and like I said, would be very surprised not to see every seat filled.
And apparently the sweaters are pretty popular too. I hear they've just been flying off the shelves.
Yeah, I mean, like Ryan has said and SEG has said many, many times, Utah shows up. And, whenever there's new merch out there, they just cannot help themselves. They've got to have the latest and greatest. And, based on what I know from last season, a bad night for the Utah Mammoth in terms of merchandise sales was actually a record night for the Utah Jazz.
Oh,
so
wow.
The Utah Mammoth, anything they're putting out there, they slap a Mammoth logo on anything and people are buying it.
Okay, Cole, thanks so much for being with me.
Yeah, of course.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is KSL Sports Utah Mammoth insider Cole Bagley. We will be streaming live at the block party tonight, just outside Broadcast House and across the street from the Delta Center for the Mammoth home opener. You can join Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news for all the fun beginning at 3. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
The accident that we had northbound I-15 after 6 North got moved over to the right shoulder, and it's no longer really a factor. UHP did need to do a traffic slowdown in order to get them moved out of the way, but that has all cleared out and speeds back to normal. Southbound I-215's West Belt, we have actually 2 crashes very close to each other, scattered between 7th North and the I-80 junction. You have 2 vehicles over to the right shoulder and 2 vehicles over to the left shoulder on the other side of the construction barrels. Now, the good news is, with these accidents out of traffic, we're not seeing any kind of slowdowns. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, starting out with a cold front, but by weekend drying things out. Today, 57. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow, 52. Rain showers in the morning, then breaking up. We'll go to 60, partly cloudy skies on Friday. Saturday looks great. 64, sunny skies. Mostly sunny, 71, and breezy on Sunday. Monday, mostly cloudy, cold front, 61. Slight chance for showers. We'll go partly cloudy and 58 by Tuesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And the sun is trying to make its way through the clouds right now. 53 degrees, a lot of clouds in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. And a quick check of the markets at this hour, all in positive territory. A complete update coming up next.
Man, I want to tell people how they can look and feel 10 years younger because it's something you and I already know.
We lost weight with the SOTA weight loss program. I lost 34 pounds, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I do feel younger. I have more energy, all because I worked through this wonderful program, SOTA weight loss.
And I let go of 70 pounds of fat weight over 5 months. And I actually did get comments, you look incredibly younger. It really felt good.
And I love the example I set for my kids to show them, look, we can celebrate things without having to eat stuff that's bad for our bodies.
And what helps is the accountability. And right now, this is the best way to do it. SOTA's bringing back their most popular offer of the season. Join now, and your partner joins for free in the Partner Program.
So you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, get going with SOTA weight loss.
They're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. You can find out by going to their website, sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because SOTA is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Upgrade your hunting arsenal with premium brands at great prices during the Shilaos hunting sale event happening now through October 19th. Scope out savings on your favorite brands in camo, rifles, ammunition, and so much more. Like $200 off the Sitka Fanatic jacket and up to $500 off the Leupold VX5 HD rifle scope. Join the community of hunters who trust Shields experts to outfit their adventures and get more bang for your buck now through October 19th at Shields.
At BMW of Pleasant Grove, we believe that driving should be more than just a commute. It should be an experience. Feel the perfect fusion of performance, technology, and luxury with our stunning lineup of new and certified pre-owned BMWs. From the exhilarating drive of a 3 or 5 Series to the spacious elegance of an X7, experience a transparent and effortless car buying experience. Visit us at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. The ultimate driving machine is closer than you think.
All in together now, we can make it better, can we do it? We rope it up, cause we know how to jump.
Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
KSL News Time 12:54. The hottest thing on Broadway has actually been around for years.
Hamilton is performing better than ever. The Broadway musical made more than $4 million last week, its highest growth in its 10 years on Broadway. And it comes outside the holiday season when shows typically see their highest grosses. They are not giving away those tickets. Fans are paying high prices as Leslie Odom Jr. returns as Aaron Burr, which he originated. Average ticket price, $376. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Watching Utah's money, Taco Bell is collaborating with Frank's Red Hot. The chain is launching 3 new items and bringing back chicken strips. They will be available starting tomorrow. Stellantis is investing $13 billion in U.S.-based auto manufacturing. It will add 5,000 jobs at several plants across the country. Domestic production is expected to increase by 50%. Spotify is teaming up with Netflix. The deal puts multiple podcasts from The Ringer, a company owned by Spotify, on the streaming platform. CNBC reports it comes as video podcasts soar in popularity. And taking a look at your money at this moment, all the markets in positive territory. The Dow up by about 53 points, sitting at 46,323. S&P 500 up about 0.5%, up 32 points. And the NASDAQ up nearly a full percent, up 0.75%, up 162 points. Smucker is suing Trader Joe's, alleging the grocery store ripped off its frozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The lawsuit says Trader Joe's round, crustless sandwiches have the same pie-like crimp markings on their edges that Uncrustables do. Smucker also alleges that the boxes Trader Joe's sandwiches come in are the same blue color that Smucker uses for its Uncrustables lettering.
Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Shop with any Mountain America credit or debit card for a chance to win a $5,000 vacation voucher. Simply tap, insert, swipe, or click to be entered to win now until October 31st. Use any card, win any trip from Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/anycard for official rules or to apply. Loans on approved credit. Membership required based on eligibility. Insured by NCUA. Limited time offer. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Rivalry Week is here, and KSL News Radio has your tickets to this year's BYU-Utah game. Tune in every hour and listen for a Cougar keyword. When you hear it, text it to 57500 for your chance to win. We'll pick a new winner each day. The more Cougar keywords you catch, the better chance you have to win. Find details and sweepstakes rules at KSLNewsRadio.com. KSL News Radio, the legacy home of BYU football.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. What's going on, Ricky?
We have 2 accidents very close to each other, but they're on opposite sides of the freeway. This is southbound I-215's west belt. A couple of vehicles on the left shoulder, a couple of vehicles on the right shoulder, and they're between 7th North and the I-80 junction. But we're not seeing any delays on any of the Valley freeways at this time. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And taking a look at the forecast for the Wasatch Front, this rate is just going to continue. Still a 20% chance for the rest of the day. Tomorrow up to a 70% chance of showers. Let me just refresh my forecast here. Let me take that back. 80% chance today, 40% chance of showers tomorrow. Then on Friday, it looks like that chance of showers pretty much disappears for the weekend. No showers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Great news for the BYU-Utah game on Saturday night, though it will be chilly with a low of 44 degrees. Today's high 57, colder tomorrow with a high of 52. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, mostly cloudy and 55 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Redistricting is not a done deal just yet in Utah. As a judge prepares to rule on a final map on congressional boundaries, Utah's Republican Party is launching a new ballot initiative. The host of Inside Sources, Holly Richardson, joined me to talk about the Republican initiative that would get rid of Proposition 4.
So there are two things that 6 GOP members have signed on to. It's an initiative to repeal an initiative and a referendum to repeal the map that just got adopted and is being presented to the courts. So what that means is there will be 2 different things that citizens need to sign on to, and they need about 150,000 verified signatures from a variety of counties across the state of Utah. And what they want to have happen is that on the ballot in 2026, so not this election year, but next year, citizens would again vote for Proposition 4, which passed in 2018, but to repeal it. So saying that you did not understand really what you were voting for, this independent redistricting commission really isn't supposed to be there because it's the legislature's job. So they need 150,000 people to say, yes, I want to put this on the ballot to repeal it. And then they need the same number of signatures to also put on the ballot, we're going to overturn the maps that we just adopted.
So how does this work with what's already going on in court?
It's really going to run simultaneously. So you have the court system that says, according to the law, which is Proposition 4, this has to be done. And this is why we have this new map that is going to be adopted. It's the map that was option C from the legislature. But what this will do is say it's going to completely take that language out of Utah code. So then the judge would not have the ability to say, well, this is according to the law, right? So what it would do is it'll run simultaneously while the court process continues to play out. It will not impact the 2026 election because that will be done on this new map, but it would impact 2028.
Ah, okay. Have you ever seen anything like this before? An initiative to repeal an initiative?
I have not seen that before.
Holly, any final thoughts for us?
Stay tuned. It's really a ride.
No doubt about it. Thanks, Holly.
Yeah.
And again, this new Republican initiative is separate from the ballot initiative that led to a new congressional map that was approved last week. Utah Republican Party Chair Rob Axson says the initiative is all about defending the separation of powers in the state of Utah and ensuring the legislature can make policy.
Reason we're doing this is because this move away from representative government into a space that is more akin to a direct democracy, as well as one that has the state judiciary overstepping their bounds and getting into really the authority and space of the legislature, is inappropriate. And we feel that the people of Utah deserve better. We deserve to be in a space where Republican principles, and by Republican principles, I don't mean Republican Party principles. I mean the spirit and principles of a constitutional republic they're adhered to, and that separation of powers is something that we continue to defend and promote.
Axon says taking the action is the right thing to do under the state's constitution.
That's the point. We're not a direct democracy. We are a constitutional republic, and those things are polar opposites in the structure of what they look like. While both being types of democracies, our founders as a country were very specific that we are a republic. And the state of Utah affirms that even in its structure. We are a republic. So I'm not going to shy away or be ashamed of that. Instead, we embrace the fact that we are a republic, and we benefit from having individuals, Utahns, men and women, who are elected and accountable to and from the people of Utah.
While he understands there will be Utahns who are opposed to the party's actions, he believes their actions will ensure the judges stay in their lane.
Oh, absolutely. There's always constant conversations in the lead up to any action and after you take any action. And there's going to be people of varying opinions, and that's awesome. That's part of the process. We should be discussing it and collaborating and working together for a step forward. It's obvious that there will be some Utahns who disagree with the actions that are being taken. And again, that's okay. They can have their opinions. But the process is one that we shouldn't shy away from, where you engage, you invite the voters of Utah to come forward and have their voice be heard. And then you lean into the elected representatives of those people. That, again, is the principles of a constitutional republic. We embrace that, and we are going about this in a process that is allowed and built into our state laws and constitution.
And he knows the effort will be difficult in such a short period of time, but he believes in the end it will be worth it.
It's no small task. It's going to require a lot of effort, a lot of work, and a lot of teamwork from Utahns all over the state. But just because something may be difficult or time-consuming doesn't mean that we should ever shy away from it. And I believe that the principles of helping Utah lean into and codify the fact that we are a constitutional republic and not a direct democracy are certainly worth the effort. And staying on the sidelines and not doing that will be to our long-term detriment.
Opponents don't believe that what the Republican Party is doing is right. The executive director of Better Boundaries, Elizabeth Rasmussen, says she's not surprised, but she is disappointed.
I'm feeling a lot of anger and sadness among people on the ground. I mean, we're a grassroots organization. We ran a ballot initiative in 2018. We went through the ballot box, got a majority of Utahns, 500,000, and seeing that they are finding a way to subvert the will of the people by gathering far fewer number of signatures and then going to the legislature, who has been very clear from the beginning they don't want Prop 4, is a problem. And all we want is for Utahns to be represented. And we just don't understand why they can't just respect the people who elected them in the first place.
Rasmussen tells Inside Sources why her group continues to push back against the Republican efforts on the redistricting maps.
And really, when you take party labels off of everything that's happening, what is happening is a group of people in power are deciding to ignore a large number of Utahns who already spoke through the ballot box through an initiative that won't go to the ballot box. It will go to the legislature instead. And so that's the nuance here that is really problematic for us and something we're trying to call out.
And she explains what she thinks the lawmakers are trying to accomplish.
This is an indirect initiative, which instead of requiring 140-ish thousand signatures across 26 out of the 29 site districts, it only requires about 70,000-ish signatures across those districts. And then it goes to the legislature in the next general session to vote yes or no on. The referendum is to call back a law or something that the legislature has passed. I mean, we saw that earlier this year with the effort with Utah, Protect Utah Workers. They're doing it with MAP C. The legislature has passed MAP C, but what's interesting is that's not law yet. It's not adopted. It's just submitted to the court. So I guess they're anticipating it will be accepted by the court, even though they haven't decided on which map will be implemented. And if that's the case and the referendum is successful, they'll say we don't want MAP C, and we kind of have to go back to the drawing board. And so really anything could happen. But the timeline for the referendum is much longer. It will be on the 2026 ballot if they gather the signatures, whereas this indirect initiative, they have to gather the signatures by November 15th. And then it will be, if they're successful there, it will be considered in the session that starts in January.
And she takes issue with the Republican claim that voters didn't understand what they were voting for when they approved Prop 4. She says, at the very least, that's disrespectful.
I trust voters a little bit more, and I can say that as a voter who voted for Prop 4. I was an undergraduate student at BYU at the time. I had learned about partisan gerrymandering. I'd seen it, and I signed it because I believed in this. And so many of our supporters, our grassroots supporters, knew exactly what they were signing. And they have been in this fight with us for 7 years to get it implemented. So to say that they didn't understand it is a huge disservice and honestly very disrespectful to voters. And I just hope the GOP and the GOP party leaders in the legislature would have more respect for voters than that.
And she says the fight is far from over.
We have a great legal team who's working really hard on this. We have great plaintiffs in the case who are also on the ground doing a lot of great work. And we're trying our best to make sure this law is implemented. That's our one and only goal. And so whatever we have to do to make sure that happens, we're ready for the challenge.
And that is the Executive Director of Better Boundaries, Elizabeth Rasmussen.
There's the Cougar Growl, which means it's time for another Cougar keyword. We're giving away a pair of tickets to the BYU-Utah game on Saturday night, and this is your chance to win. This hour's keyword is zone, as in the end zone. You want to just text the word zone to 57500. That's Z-O-N-E to 57500 to enter to win and listen Saturday live here on KSL News Radio. Good luck. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have an accident on the transition ramp from westbound I-80 to go to southbound I-215's westbound. A lot of emergency crews on the scene here. To the right, you can still take that ramp, but stay to the far left in order to get around it. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Showers and thunderstorms continue this afternoon. We're going to max out at about 57 degrees. More of the same overnight and into tomorrow morning. It's a good day to be a duck. Our high is 52 tomorrow. Right now, you've got some showers scattered throughout the area, 53 degrees. I'm Becky Bruce from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
I'm Jenny Oakes Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful, and Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and My Children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at jennyoaksbaker.com.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. They say friends are forever, but then again, a 30-year mortgage is a long time. Still, 32% of Gen Zers say they're willing to go halvesies on a new home with a friend or a family member, compared to just 18% of millennials. That's according to a new survey from the National Mortgage Insurance Corporation. Real estate expert Tina Tambor with the Cromford Report tells our sister station, KTAR, that there are definitely some drawbacks to sharing a mortgage with a buddy.
What happens if one of you passes away? If you have joint tenants, you might end up finding yourself that it goes to somebody else. You're owning a home with somebody you don't know. So that happens sometimes. There's all kinds of things that you need to take care of, especially when you're not married.
But Tambor says it's also not unusual to see people getting creative in order to achieve the American dream. And right now, that means sharing a mortgage with someone who isn't a romantic partner.
Buying with a brother or a sibling, buying a fixer-upper, or getting VA financing, FHA financing. So there are a lot of tools we have in real estate that help people with affordability, especially when things get kind of on the edge.
Tambor says regardless of how you are buying your own home, just make sure that you do your research and read all the fine print. There will be more housing and resources available for people experiencing homelessness as a new apartment building goes up in Salt Lake this week. CEO of the Other Side Foundation, Tim Stay, says this new apartment building will not only house people, but it will be a prep school where they can teach people the skills they need to break out of the homelessness cycle.
One of the challenges with our current system is someone who's trying to put their life back together, who's on the streets, is they can go in someplace for mental health services, but then when they leave, there isn't a next step. There isn't someone there to help them take the next step. If they need to detox, there isn't someone there when they're done to take the next step. And that's what we're able to do, is we're able to help someone who has all these challenges ahead of them. We can take them to a detox, we can take them to mental health services, we can take them to medical health services, but then we'll pick them up and we can still house them while they take the next step in their progression of putting their life back together. So we think it'll be a substantial benefit in helping those who've been really stuck. Our average resident who comes into this facility has been homeless for over 9 years. So these are people who've really been caught in the system for a long time.
It will house over 100 people.
It's for 18 and up, and it's really, rather than, we certainly will help people if they don't have their GED, get their GED, but it's really primarily, let's learn the life skills necessary to thrive, to live independently. And often, someone who's been on the streets for that many years, sometimes 10, 20 years, you need to relearn some skills to be able to function in society. And that's really what the prep school is, to learn those skills necessary to thrive.
The new apartment building will be going up near 7th East and 100 South. It started assembly yesterday and will be finished by the end of the week. Most residents will be able to stay at the prep school for 6 months a year, and after that, the Other Side will help them transition into other housing resources nearby.
Donate your car to Charity Hotline. This is Roger.
Hi,
Roger would like to donate my car.
Yeah, good. Leave the keys in it, park it on the street, and we'll send a thug. I mean, tow.
Where's your office?
In New Jersey. Where do you want it to be?
Well, Roger, I want to make sure my donation helps Utah kidney patients.
It will.
Which ones?
Well, does it matter?
Yes, I want the money to stay in Utah.
And boy, have you got the wrong number.
If you want your car donation to help people here in Utah, turn your car into a kidney car for the National Kidney Foundation of Utah and Idaho. Hi, this is Luz Lewis Perez. Kidney Cars is the Beehive State's #1 choice for charity car donation since 1990. When you donate your car to Kidney Cars, funding stays in Utah to help local Utah kidney patients and funds local medical research. Kidney Cars gets donors the highest tax deduction, along with free towing. Visit towcars.org and learn more. That's Tow Cars with a K like kidney. That's TOWKARS.org.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The Guitar Czar store in Murray is closing after 32 years, and they say it's partly due to tariffs. They're not the only music store impacted by new import taxes. Colin Campbell with Riverton Music says they are feeling the impact on all sorts of instruments.
We've had 2 or 3 price increases this year because of tariffs, which is probably the most that we've had for a number of years.
Campbell says more affordable models of instruments tend to be made overseas, which means importing new instruments for, say, student players just got more expensive.
Tariffs is a pretty big challenge for the music industry. Orchestra, especially orchestra instruments, violins, violas, cellos, the large majority of them are made in China.
That's not the only sour note at the Guitar Czar in Murray. They are citing changing shopper behavior and a slow economy as secondary factors in their decision to shut their doors. There's no set date for their closure, but the store is encouraging shoppers to keep other local music stores in mind for their future needs. It is rivalry week, and both BYU and Utah's players and coaches are preparing for what should be an epic battle Saturday night. Both head coaches were asked about the game as they kicked off the week of practices. BYU head coach Kalani Sitake says he loves the intensity, but he doesn't like some of the negatives that get thrown around.
I have a lot of love and respect for everyone that's involved, and so it's an honor for me to be the coach here and to be part of this game. And I think it'd be a lot more fun if we can have just value what and there's you could be a fan, and I'm just telling you, it's so much more fun be a fan cheering for your team rather than cheering against the others. That's how I view it. But fans gonna do however they want. I'm just telling them, just try it, man. It's a lot of fun when you cheer your team on, and you show a lot of respect for the opposing team. It's a different way to do it, and it's a lot more fun and enjoyable.
Both coaching staffs are loaded with former players from the other team. Kalani coached under Kyle Whittingham for years, and Kyle was a BYU player.
It's rivalry week. Got to go on the road. I guess it's going to be a big noon kickoff will be there, even though it's not the big noon game of the week. They'll be down there, and so we'll have to have a great week of practice as always. Between the two teams, there's a lot of similarities statistically. Both rushing for roughly the same amount, throwing for roughly the same amount, scoring roughly the same amount. Defensively, there's a lot of similarities as well. Both in the upper third of the conference in most of the key stats, and so should make for a great matchup, and away we go.
But one thing Coach Witt would not do during his news conference is talk about any BYU players.
What have you seen from BYU quarterback Bear Bachmeier?
I'm just going to focus on us this week, our guys, our coaches. So I'm not going to give much thought on the opponent this week. And so really, you have to ask them.
Our pregame coverage starts Saturday at noon with Cougar Sports Saturday. The game kicks at 6. We might just have found the Great Pumpkin a little early. Associated Press reporter Lisa Dwyer explains from Northern California.
Pumpkins are a pride.
Brandon Dawson, a California engineer and gardening enthusiast, has won the top prize at the 52nd World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off in Half Moon Bay.
Let's see how much it weighs.
2,346 pounds. That's roughly the same weight as a small sedan or a large bison. Dawson says that while it is a hobby, it is also a family affair.
We like to spend time out in the patch and watch the thing grow. When it's picking up like 50 to 70 pounds a day, you can really see it growing day over day.
While he won't be able to quit his day job, he still won a tidy sum of money.
We're going to give you a check for $21,114. Yeah, baby!
Traffic brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Crashes southbound I-215's West Belt scattered between 7th North and the I-80 junction over to the shoulders out of traffic, and an accident still being cleared on the transition ramp from westbound I-80 to go to southbound I-215's West Belt, blocking a right shoulder. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
This fall, wrap yourself and everyone on your gift list in the original luxury, a blanket from Minky Couture. Perfect for relaxing, watching the game, or making someone stay. Stock up now for the holidays and give the best gift ever. Use code KSL50 for 50% off your entire order. Minky Couture, the original luxury Minky blanket and home of the best gift ever. Minky Couture and MinkyCouture.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. Mail-in ballots are on the way to voters for those of us who have a municipal election coming up in November. Joining me live is Cambria Cantrell with the Utah Office of Elections. Thanks so much for being with me. Tell us who's going to be getting a ballot.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here. So, like you said, it's everyone who lives in a city with those contested city council or mayoral races, along with a lot of those new school board races that are in Utah County. And as far as like HB 300 and that side of things goes, everyone will receive a ballot still unless you've already opted to only vote in person. But that's only like a limited number of people that have done that, so everyone can still plan to receive a ballot.
Okay, so who doesn't get a ballot this go around?
So anyone whose city has been able to cancel their election because they didn't have enough candidates to require holding an election, or, as I said, those people who have already opted to only vote in person.
So what do we need to know? I mean, if I want to vote in person, what do I need to know?
Yeah, so Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. Early voting will start before that, but dates and times of that vary depending on the county you live in. So one of the best things to do is to go to vote.utah.gov and click on How Can I Vote? And then if you type in your address, that will give you all of the locations of ballot drop boxes, voting in person sites, early voting, everything you need to know there.
So for those folks who didn't opt in, how do they get a ballot?
So even if you haven't opted in yet, you will still be mailed a ballot so long as you haven't opted to only vote in person. But if by chance your city is holding an election and say by the end of this week or so you don't receive a ballot, you can always call your county clerk's office. The deadline to request a ballot is October 28th at 5 p.m. And then if you're not registered to vote yet, the voter registration deadline is October 24th at 5 p.m. And with either of those situations, it's best to just contact your county clerk's office.
Right. Any other deadlines we need to be aware of?
Well, this year we're always reminding people that there's no longer a postmark deadline. You now have to have your ballot received by the county clerk by 8 p.m. on Election Day. So we encourage you to either use a drop box. They're secure 24/7 camera monitored, located in pretty much every municipality for your easy use. So we recommend that, but if you do mail your ballot, we recommend that you do send it back in the mail early so that your county clerk gets it in time.
All right, Cambria, thanks so much for being with me. That is Cambria Cantrell with the Utah Office of Elections. It's 1:30. I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL's top local story this hour. Utah GOP leaders are asking voters for permission to get rid of a law that created an independent redistricting commission. The group who fought to create that commission is calling the move disrespectful to voters. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Better Boundaries says when elected officials draw their own election maps, it opens the door to gerrymandering, which is why they pushed and got Proposition 4 passed back in 2018. And now GOP lawmakers, they'd like to see Prop 4 go away.
They are finding a way to subvert the will of the people by gathering far fewer number of signatures and then going to the legislature, who has been very clear from the beginning they don't want Prop 4, is a problem.
Better Boundaries Executive Director Elizabeth Rasmussen says the GOP's move caught her by surprise, and she doesn't understand why lawmakers won't respect what voters already chose. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
The Utah Republican Party chair says he wants voters to weigh in to see if they want the constitutional role of the legislature limited. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
GOP Party Chair Rob Axson says he doesn't feel voters knew what they were voting for in 2018 when Prop 4 narrowly passed, and he's worried the state is moving towards a direct democracy rather than a republic. So he says he's letting voters give their input through initiative signatures, which, if passed, would let lawmakers vote on the future of the state's congressional maps.
The GOP needs to collect around 70,000 signatures before November 15th for the initiative to make it into January's legislative session. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Lawmakers want to make sure back pay is guaranteed for government workers when the shutdown ends.
Requesting an immediate clarification that federal workers will receive back pay at the end of the government shutdown, over 100 lawmakers signing a letter to White House Budget Director Russ Vought. Other than Senator Lisa Murkowski, Alaska Republican, the rest are all Democrats. They say federal law is clear that the workers are due back pay and that President Trump previously signed a bill that guarantees back pay for federal workers.
That is ABC's Chuck Sievertson. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 14 points, sitting at 46,284. S&P up by 31. The NASDAQ up by 162 points. Coming up, make sure that your umbrella is close at hand. We'll take a look at the forecast next. KSL News Time, 1:33.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Did you know 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income? And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Don't lose $111,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits on Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
This time of year, a little spookiness is fun. But the last thing you want to be scared of is what's collected in your carpets. Did you know up to 40 pounds of dust, dirt, debris, and even fecal matter can build up in them each year? That's enough to make anyone shiver. And it's not just unpleasant to think about. Those particles can affect the air you breathe and the health of everyone in your home. So this season, let Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning take care of your carpets with their patented process that's designed to tackle the buildup you can't see. Zero-Res cleans without harsh chemicals or soapy residue, leaving your carpets safe for kids and pets and helping them stay cleaner longer. Don't be scared of what's hiding underfoot. Schedule your cleaning today at Zerores.com and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $129 and 15% off air duct cleanings. Spelled the same forward or backward, Zero-Res is the right way to clean.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. What's going on, Ricky?
We do have debris in the road. It is affecting a right lane of traffic eastbound 2100 north in Lehigh as you're approaching the I-15 junction. It looks like it's gravel, so we may have to have a street sweeper come in and clean that up, but you want to definitely be careful there. A delay-free drive on your Valley freeways. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Showers and thunderstorms continue this afternoon. We'll max out at about 57 degrees. More of the same overnight and into tomorrow morning. Our high 52. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 55 degrees. I'm Maria Shilaos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. The Salt Lake Valley has now set a record for the most rainfall in the month of October, and we are not done with the wet stuff yet. KSL meteorologist Evan Mashuli has joined me in studio to talk about it. So what does this next storm look like?
Oh, we have a pretty good storm coming through. A nice little cold front as well, and that's going to drop temperatures yet again. So we've kind of had weather whiplash for the first 2 weeks of October. I mean, we had really strong storms that came with really cold air, brought some nice mountain snow, and then dropped temperatures more than 10 and 15 degrees. That's exactly what we're going to see with this storm that comes in tomorrow. We'll actually begin to see signs of the storm tonight, so especially up in the mountains this evening, we'll have some rain begin to fall, and then even developing across the valleys across northern Utah and southwestern Utah. The storm will kind of circle right around the state all throughout the overnight into tomorrow morning. That's when we're likely to see the heaviest of showers through tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. And that will help drop temperatures from the low to mid 70s today to the mid 50s tomorrow afternoon. And it could be another good rainstorm. We could have a lot more rain to add on to our record month.
I liked last night's storm that came in the middle of the night.
You did like it?
The one on Saturday in the middle of the Ute game was not so much fun.
Hey, I mean, I don't know, because last night, like, sometimes the crackling thunderstorms, like, or the thunder, it actually scares me a little bit. I know I'm a meteorologist, but so hopefully people actually liked the sound of the thunder last night, but it was really loud and it brought a lot of rain. I mean, it ticked us right over to the record amount of rain today in October, so there's more to come.
How significant is it to break that record?
Oh, it's pretty significant. I mean, especially because all of it has come in the first 2 weeks of October. So we still have 2 more weeks of the month to go. And as you know, we have a nice, good storm system coming tomorrow. So this is only going to get higher and higher for this record. Also, I saw that it was the 19th wettest month on record entirely for Salt Lake. So out of all the months, this is one of our wettest, at least the 19th wettest. And still, we have some time to go, so we could even break into the top 10 for the wettest months overall in Salt Lake. So pretty significant rainfall that we're talking here for Salt Lake.
What does that mean for our water year moving forward then?
I mean, it's nice that we're off to a great start. I mean, this is actually the wettest start to our water year. I mean, the first 2 weeks, if you look at that alone, this is the wettest start on record for our water year. So hopefully the trend continues where we get some nice kind of good storms, maybe not all at once like we've gotten over the last 2 weeks, but I would say this is a really good start. We want to have as much rain as we can. We want the soils to be saturated, not oversaturated, for when we get our nice snowfall over the winter.
But does it really show a trend moving into the winter? I mean, we don't know if this will continue.
Yeah, we don't know. At least what we can say, it looks like the pattern will remain active, at least over the next couple of weeks. It looks like the storm pattern will be active across the western United States. In a La Nina pattern, it looks like our jet stream stays to the north. So more so northern Utah is favored, at least through the beginning of winter, to have an active pattern. But it really looks like we're seeing some good storms, so I'm remaining optimistic.
Okay. Thanks, Devin.
No problem.
KSL meteorologist Devin Mashuli joining me live in studio. Meanwhile, it's a more muted fall this year across the country, at least when it comes to leaf peeping.
More than 40% of the country began October in drought, which might mean a shorter leaf peeping season with less color, according to a USDA meteorologist. The Nature Conservancy in Massachusetts says climate change is stressing our forests with severe weather and heat waves. This drought has hit the northeast and western U.S. especially hard. In the Rockies, peak color is now hitting Denver at the same time as the mountains, very early. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
University of Utah says it's going to start offering a full tuition scholarship to first-time in-state students who make the grade and whose families make less than $100,000 a year. School President Taylor Randall joined Inside Sources to talk about the Utah Promise Scholarship.
This scholarship is aimed at making the University of Utah radically affordable and accessible to students coming from families, as you already mentioned, who make less than $100,000 and have assets as defined by the federal government for student aid below $100,000. By the way, that doesn't include housing assets or retirement assets, just so you know. So it's really more liquid assets that would be able to pay for tuition. So it's a very, I think, generous interpretation of who will be able to qualify. Now, you need to have a 3.5 GPA and above to qualify for it. But we think it'll make the University of Utah radically accessible.
Randall says they want to spread the word to make sure students can start to take advantage.
You know, we'll be pushing this out to high school counselors as they begin to help students apply for college. We also have a website that's already up that explains it. In addition to this scholarship, we've also recently redesigned our merit scholarship. So anybody in the state with a 3.5 GPA and above will also be receiving some type of scholarship aid.
According to Randall, one of the U's motivators is pushing back against the narrative that college is unattainable or isn't worth it.
You know, the national narrative has been that universities are not delivering value to students and their families. And we hope by doing this that we just really push this value equation into positive territory for all Utah families.
University of Utah President Taylor Randall talking about the new Utah Promise Scholarship. You know that sound? It's time for another Cougar keyword. We are giving away a pair of tickets to this Saturday's rivalry.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A man from American Fork is trying to pull together a class action lawsuit against Red West Fest for how they handled the weather conditions over the weekend and their refusal to issue refunds to people who spent thousands of dollars to be at the 3-day concert festival. Derek Yerkes told KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson more about why he thinks that they have a case.
The lack of communication that we had with Red West was terrible. Like, they promised that they would, even on their website, it had mentioned that they would email and send out app notifications and all of that if they decided to delay, which they didn't end up doing, but they didn't stick to their time commitments like they were saying. It said it would be sent out immediately. People were waiting out in the rain for hours and hours and hours for a concert, and then they told everyone, oh, it's looking optimistic, when the weather report had not really changed, and people decided to continue to wait, and it wasn't safe. Clearly, as many know, someone passed away after evacuating the Red West Fest. It's just, it could have been handled so much better how they chose to evacuate it. They said they had plans in place, which it's clear their staff didn't know how to handle it. I've had hundreds of people DM me. We've had over 700 people fill out the form, and over 400 of those people have left their stories, and multiple people were manhandled by security. Myself, when we were trying to leave with my group of people, we spent nearly 20 minutes trying to get out of the venue, and we left right as they announced the evacuation, and we were getting shoved against walls, like pushed around. It was totally crowded. They refused to open the emergency exits, and then they also didn't let people in a lot of buildings, kicked people out of multiple buildings. It just, the way they handled it was extremely unprofessional and not what was promised. And then they tried to make it right by honoring Sunday's tickets, which is great in theory, but many people traveled here for a certain lineup that they weren't able to see and couldn't even go to the Sunday concert if they wanted to. And even if they did, it's a different lineup, not who people paid to see. And then along with that, what about the 3-day ticket holders? And what about all the people that bought Sunday passes that were claimed to be sold out months ago? We have screenshots of them saying they were sold out. And then they're like, we assured you it's under capacity. I don't know if that's accurate, but when we were there, it was absolutely jam-packed.
Yerka says he's already had about 700 people sign up to be part of a potential lawsuit, and about 500 people have shared their bad experiences with him on Instagram. He says no one from Red West will get back to him about getting refunds after multiple attempts, so he's currently trying to find the best attorney for their case. The next time you fill up your gas tank, you should see a difference in the price. The average price of gas nationwide has dropped to just over $3 a gallon, and we could soon see the price drop below $3 for the first time in years. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy tells me while the price is also dropping in Utah, we are a bit behind the national average.
Across most states, Utah is seeing a slight dip here over the last week, although prices are still a little bit elevated because of some of the refinery issues in the region. But for now, statewide average $3.36, down about a penny from last week. The national average, meanwhile, down 7 cents a gallon in the last week. It's at $3.03 a gallon. and it could fall below $3 a gallon here in the next week or so and could stay there for much of the rest of the year.
Patrick, talk to me about the factors that go into gas prices and why Utah tends to lag behind.
Well, Utah can lag behind changes to the national average just based on what is happening at refineries in the region. There have been several major refinery outages in California, and that can impact refineries in Salt Lake City, causing them to send or reroute their gasoline elsewhere. There have also been refinery outages in Washington State as well. So it's been kind of those issues where refineries are starting to move material to other regions that can impact negatively gas prices in Utah. For now, though, a lot of the seasonal factors should start to align, pushing prices lower. Americans generally don't drive as much as we get into colder weather. Gasoline demand being lower then pushes prices down. We've also made the transition back to cheaper winter gasoline, which should help lead to additional price relief here in the weeks ahead. As I mentioned, though, some of these refinery snags in the West Coast are starting to improve. A lot of that also because of the falling price of oil, which late last week fell below $60 a barrel. Oil prices today now at their lowest level since 2021. Some of that tied to uncertainty as the U.S. and China seem to be engaging in another trade war as China limits the export of rare earths. And that pushing oil lower could lead to even lower gas prices as we get into the colder weather into, say, November and December.
So will Utah and the western states tend to catch up with the others that have the lower prices?
I think that'll probably happen so long as there aren't any new refinery issues in the West Coast that could, again, cause a bit of a supply movement from the Rockies out to the West Coast. So as long as the coast is clear, as long as new refinery issues don't happen on the West Coast, I do think that Utah is in line for some nice price declines here over the weeks ahead. Salt Lake City also, along with that, averaging $3.35. I do expect potentially by Thanksgiving or maybe Christmas, prices could be at or below $3 a gallon so long as we don't see new refinery outages.
Yeah, this is especially important. A lot of people travel for the holidays off to Grandma's house. What are you looking at for the holidays?
Well, again, continued improvement in gas prices virtually coast to coast. Now, there can be some hiccups from region to region depending on what's happening at refineries. And again, with a refinery fire, major refinery fire in California just a little over a week ago, that's still a bit of a sore spot. Supply could be limited, and that could impact prices. But I do think that as we get closer to Halloween and closer to Thanksgiving, gas prices should continue to move downward. Again, a lot of that because Americans simply don't drive as much, kind of progressively see decreasing gasoline demand as we get into colder weather, and that helps to lead to gas price relief.
Patrick, how does all of this compare with last year?
Yeah, looking at prices right now, Salt Lake City at about $3.36. That is 10 cents lower than last year. The national average also about 16 cents lower than last year. So, we're just under where we were a year ago. I'd say a lot of the reason for prices being slightly lower than last year is the fact that OPEC has spent much of this year increasing oil production, leading to lower oil prices, and that's helped push prices just slightly under their year-ago levels in most areas.
Now, the falling prices are welcome news for those heading to Grandma's house for the holidays.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone, and now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done.
with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Amanda, I want to tell people how they can look and feel 10 years younger because it's something you and I already know.
We lost weight with the SOTA weight loss program. I lost 34 pounds, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I do feel younger. I have more energy, all because I worked through this wonderful program, SOTA weight loss.
And I let go of 70 pounds of fat weight over 5 months. And I actually did get comments, you look incredibly younger. It really felt good.
And I love the example I set for my kids to show them, look, we can celebrate things without having to eat stuff that's bad for our bodies.
And what helps is the accountability. And right now, this is the best way to do it. SOTA's bringing back their most popular offer of the season. Join now, and your partner joins for free in the partner program.
So you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, get going with SOTA weight loss.
They're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. You can find out by going to their website, SOTAweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because SOTA is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Measles cases continue to break out nationwide, and now we're getting a better handle on the West Texas outbreak that started it all. The outbreak began in January, but wasn't declared over until August, and we're told it made more than 750 people sick and killed 2 children. Here in Utah, we have 55 cases so far this year. State epidemiologist Leisha Nolan says a majority of people don't need to worry, but we need to be aware of what we can do to stay healthy.
Most Utahns have no reason to worry about this. I think it's well over 90% of us have gotten these vaccines, either when we were quite little or actually some people quite recently. And so it's one of those things that's great to not have to worry for most people, but we do want to take protections for those people who haven't for whatever reason. Certainly the best precaution is the measles vaccine, the MMR vaccine. That vaccine is exceptional. It really protects people very well through their whole life. Happily, the vast majority of Utahns have had that vaccine. So most Utahns, this really doesn't need to be a concern for. We are certainly concerned for people who haven't been able to get that vaccine, maybe because they're little, maybe they're under 1 year old, or people who have immune conditions that really just don't allow them to get that vaccine. Those people, we would really encourage them to make sure they're surrounded by people who are vaccinated. Being surrounded by people who are vaccinated really essentially makes a wall so the virus can't get through, and that protects those people who haven't yet gotten the vaccine. And certainly if there's people out there who haven't got the vaccine, but it's an option for, we would really encourage them to take this time to go get it. Maybe for them or for their kid. It's a time to try to protect people as much as possible.
Currently, the state's wastewater surveillance shows there's an increased number of cases of measles in several counties across the state, meaning there may be more people who are sick than we are aware of. Utah County monitors detected measles in the wastewater within the last week.
Measles is a virus that transmits easier when you're closer to people and indoors. So historically, when it did transmit much more than it does these days, it would come in sort of fall, winter waves like our flu would. So even today, it is concerning as we get colder and we know that there is measles in our state, that people could get it more easily as the temperatures cool down and people are closer together and transmitting things easier. We certainly have known we've had measles around the state now for a few months, and Utah was one of the Utah County was one of the earlier areas that had somebody infected with measles, and happily that was controlled. But this detection now shows that there is at least someone who's at least traveled through. We've only had one detection, so we don't know for sure it's going to be stable. but at least someone who's traveled through that area who has the virus.
Some people may choose not to have the vaccine, while others are unable to get it for many reasons. So Nolan says it's best to discuss with your doctor about the risks that you personally face. Again, that is Utah's state epidemiologist, Dr. Leisha Nolan. An ancient Roman artifact was found in a New Orleans backyard this week. The long-lost grave marker is nearly 2,000 years old. ABC's Ann Flaherty has that story on the Start Here podcast.
Daniela Santoro had already lived in her home in New Orleans for about 6 years when she thought she'd tackle a bunch of weeds and out-of-control vines in her backyard.
So we were just pulling up the vines, and they must have been, even like a foot high and all tangled over here.
That's when she stumbled upon something amazing. A mysterious marble tablet inscribed with Latin that included the phrase, "Spirits of the Dead."
It was not buried deep, right? It was just sort of sitting there.
Now, if you're like me, you'd assume that this was a Halloween decoration and maybe donate it. This tablet's only about a square foot and an inch thick. It was laying flat in the dirt like a garden stepping stone. But as luck would have it, Santoro is an anthropologist at Tulane University. She says the Latin inscription in the stone was enough to make her think maybe this wasn't just junk. In an interview with the Associated Press, Santoro says she reached out to a colleague who's an archaeologist who immediately pegged it as something quite different. A 1900-year-old grave marker of a Roman sailor named Sextus Congenius Verus.
And when I first saw the image that Daniela sent me, it really did send a shiver up my spine because I was floored.
Turns out that the grave marker for the sailor had been missing from a museum in Italy for decades. According to the AP, the tablet had been in an ancient cemetery with about 20 other graves of military personnel just northwest of Rome. And just before World War II, when the museum was bombed, the tablet and its inscription were documented pretty much exactly as was found in Santoro's backyard.
To the spirits of the dead, for Sextus Congenius Verus, soldier of the Praetorian fleet.
Now for the fun plot twist. When news of the grave marker became public, the previous homeowner, Aaron Scott O'Brien, turned up with what could be the missing piece in the puzzle. It turns out O'Brien had received the tablet from her grandparents, who happened to be an Italian woman, and a New Orleans native who was stationed in Italy during World War II.
I was in shock about, recognizing our old house and next, this tablet that was my family's.
She says she immediately recognized the stone from news reports. She told the AP that she had always just seen the marker as, quote, a cool-ass piece of art. They had used the stone as a garden decoration and then forgot about it before selling the home to Santoro in 2018. All of this to say, I think we need to be asking our grandparents more questions about what's in their attic and in their backyards. And also a toast to the man known as Sextus, the Roman sailor who died at age 42 of unknown causes after serving more than 2 decades in the Imperial Navy. He was remembered by his stone as, quote, well-deserving.
Okay, Jeff, have you checked your mom's backyard yet? Any artifacts that are 2,000 years old?
What kind of art is that? Just asking.
Yeah, I won't say it again.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
2 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top story this hour. We're learning more about a shooting that took place last night on State Street in Sandy. Unified Police say it was between Midvale and Sandy, between about 8400 and 90th South.
From what we were initially told, it appears one vehicle started firing shots at another, possibly up to 6 rounds at that vehicle. However, both vehicles fled the scene.
Sergeant Amy Ray says police are now looking for the 2 cars involved. They're pulling footage wherever they can and looking for plate numbers. The crowd at the Delta Center is expected to be louder and bigger for tonight's Mammoth home opener, and it's only expected to get bigger and louder in the coming years. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
Tonight will be the first time the Mammoth play in front of a fully unobstructed lower bowl in the Delta Center, which now has 1,100 more seats than last year. Smith Entertainment Group executive Jim Olson says all those extra fans means more noise, which also means a bigger advantage for the home team.
Gives us a great home advantage. We think
this is the best dual sport arena in the country, meaning, basketball and hockey, and the players feel the fans right on top of them.
And Olson says they have plans to begin renovating the upper bowl and add even more unobstructed seats after the season ends in the spring. They expect to do the same to the other end of the upper bowl after next season. Between now and the start of the 2027 season, Olson says they'll go from 12,400 full-view hockey seats to about 17,000. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. It's day 15 of the government shutdown, and there's no movement on either side to end it. The Senate will take a vote today on the same government funding bill that have failed before, and it's not expected to pass. Now more air traffic controllers are expected to call in sick.
It happened very quickly. It was day 34, 35. New York airspace began to get impacted. Flights were canceled because a few controllers called out in the Washington, D.C. and New York City area. They were driving for Uber because they needed to pay their bills. Some of these air traffic controllers are making as little as $45,000 a year, and they are facing desperate measures, desperate times, once that week kicks in that they don't get paid.
That's ABC's Sam Sweeney reporting. Other national news KSL's following. The Trump administration is looking to provide an additional $20 billion in financing for Argentina. This would be on top of a $20 billion credit swap line pledged earlier this month to support Argentina's currency. Your money at this moment. The Dow is down 17 points, the S&P up 26, and the NASDAQ up 148. It's time now for another Cougar keyword. We're giving away a pair of tickets to the BYU-Utah game on Saturday night, and this is your chance to win. This hour's keyword is drive, as in watch those Cougars drive to the goal. Text the word drive to 57500 to enter to win, and listen to the action Saturday live here on KSL News Radio. Good luck. Coming up, a little rain in the forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 2:03.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Bill Riley here with University of Utah head football coach Kyle Whittingham. Now tell me, Coach Whitt, what's your philosophy on a winning team?
I believe the key to winning is a strong offensive line. When the linemen do their job, nothing gets through to the quarterback, so he can do his job.
Well, what happens if the linemen don't do their job?
Ouch. You know, Bill, I recently learned that kidneys work like linemen for your body. When your kidneys work, they block poisons and chemicals from your blood.
Coach, I've heard that 1 in 9 Americans have some form of kidney disease. What can we do to fight back?
Join me, Coach Kyle Whittingham, and be part of the winning team against kidney disease. Donate your used car or truck to the Kidney Foundation. Your car will be towed for free, and you'll get a receipt for a tax deduction. Tell them how to do that, Bill.
Donate your car to the Kidney Foundation today and make your car a kidney car. Cars to save lives. Call 1-800-TOW-CARS. That's tow cars. Cars with a K. 1-800-TOW-CAR.
Every year, the National Kidney Foundation helps individuals and families affected by kidney disease. Help them out by making your car a kidney car. Call 1-800-TOW-CARS.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Salt Lake City will not be playing a video from Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at the airport. We'll dig into the reasons why coming up, but first, we wanted you to be able to hear the message that's
traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We've had a street sweeper and a street scooper in Lehigh trying to clean up this mess of gravel from a load spill eastbound on 2100 North approaching the I-15 junction. In Weber County, a crash. This is at the on-ramp southbound I-15 at 21st Street. It's over to the shoulder, but crews are there blocking that lane. You can still make that ramp. Just stay to the right. Titanic, the exhibition, opens October 17th at the shops at Southtown. Step aboard to experience full-scale recreations, see artifacts, and hear real passenger stories. Don't miss it. Book passage today at titanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high of 57 today with a chance of showers this evening. Those could continue into the morning tomorrow with a high of 52 degrees. Then on Friday, we're back up to 60. Right now, it's cloudy with some showers in the area and 54 degrees. I'm Heather Peterson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Salt Lake City will not be playing a video from Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at the airport. We'll dig into the reasons why coming up, but first, we wanted you to be able to hear the message that's been sent to airports nationwide.
It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay. We will continue to do all that we can to avoid delays that will impact your travel. And our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government.
Now back to the situation in Salt Lake City. We learned yesterday about other airports that had decided not to run that video message. Today, we are learning Salt Lake City has also decided to not run it.
We are just following the law, and so that's why we're not airing the messages.
Here's airport spokesperson Nancy Vollmer with more.
There's Utah law that prohibits any municipal employee or officer from using city-owned equipment for political activity. And so those monitors that we would play that video on are owned and operated by the city. So we are prohibited from playing any political messages on them.
Vollmer says the video has not been running at all at Salt Lake International.
We were only notified last Thursday about the video and asked if we would be able to post it. So I don't believe the video was available before that.
Vollmer tells KSL News Radio's Adam Small it would not matter if the message had been critical of Republicans rather than Democrats. Either way, the law is clear that city-owned equipment can't be used to spread political messages. According to Vollmer, as soon as she got the request, she kicked it up the chain for review.
So I actually post these videos on the monitors, and when I was asked to do that, I always review it before I post it, and I did review it, and I thought, I was a little concerned when I saw the messaging in there, so that's when I reached out to our executive director as well as to our attorneys so they could advise me on the best steps to take, and I was told that because it was a political message that we could not air that on our monitors.
She says the decision not to play this video on the airport monitors was made without any input from other cities with similar concerns, though it appears their reasoning is similar.
No, we did not consult with another airport. There is Airports Council International North America is an entity where we have a listserv and other airports share information. And I know that just from seeing some of the messaging on that listserv that there are other airports who have the same concerns and the same restrictions, and so they're not able to play the video.
Vollmer says she hasn't heard from any lawmakers on either side of the political aisle about the decision, but she has heard from members of the public thanking the airport for staying out of politics. China says it's not backing down from President Trump's threat to declare 100% tariffs on all of its imports. That's as new tariffs take effect today on lumber, furniture, and cabinets, all of which are expected to hit our Canadian neighbors hard, which translates into higher expenses for you. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
This is a pretty broad set of tariffs that'll take effect. We're talking about 10% additional tariffs on timber and lumber imports. So a lot of those, the wood that goes into building stuff here in the United States. And then also additional 25% tariffs on kitchen cabinets and upholstered furniture. So these seem pretty specific. But when you think about this, it's a pretty targeted set of tariffs from the Trump administration. The rates are actually going to go up next year, too. So paying for countries like Canada, the lumber that we import, the majority of it comes from Canada. So this is another problem for Canadian imports. We've already seen them targeted pretty heavily by the Trump administration. And then this furniture set of tariffs would hit people who are remodeling their homes, trying to buy new furniture. Kitchen cabinets seem specific, but 25% increase in cost, that could be a big deal.
Our choices may narrow down a little bit as tariffs come into play.
So before you might have picked the product based off how it looked, but now you'd be considering where exactly is it imported from?
We're going to be looking at price.
We are already hearing home builders and the National Association of Home Builders kind of sound the alarm about this new set of tariffs. They put out a statement last week saying that these tariffs will create additional headwinds for an already challenged housing market by raising construction and renovation costs. So another notch in what could ultimately mean higher prices for builders and potentially higher prices for homeowners and consumers too.
Elizabeth was speaking with the ABC Start Here podcast. She says with so many Americans looking to find ways to make housing more affordable, this is a development that's likely to increase rather than lower housing costs. So why target wood-based products? Elizabeth says you have to think about the kinds of people who are benefiting from this news.
One thing we consistently hear from the Trump administration and from the president himself when he announces a lot of these tariffs on Truth Social is that it will end up benefiting domestic manufacturers. And I reached out to the association that represents furniture makers in the U.S. to see, do they agree with that argument from President Trump? And they said part of their membership really does. In a statement, they said domestic companies that produce upholstered furniture that consumers buy as they see it online are celebrating these new tariffs. Because what that ultimately means, and I know we've talked about how these tariffs manifest, but it's worth reminding, when these tariffs go in place, if you are a U.S. business importing parts of products or full products from overseas, you pay, when that product crosses the border, an additional fee. You could call it a tax, you could call it a customs duty. That's what the tariff is. And what we're dealing with in the economy right now is, do those companies end up paying that higher price, or do they pass it down to their customers? But if you're a U.S. company and you are already making your products here, you wouldn't pay those higher costs. And, that's what the Trump administration has said it wants to encourage, incentivize. Now, of course, bigger multinational companies like furniture makers, think of names like Williams-Sonoma, which makes West Elm furniture. They probably wouldn't be as excited about this because they have really global supply chains relying on different parts from all over the world. And in fact, we've seen the stock prices of some of those bigger furniture companies take a hit after these tariffs were announced.
That is ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Federal workers who have been furloughed or working without pay are not only feeling the financial squeeze on day 15 of the government shutdown, they are now in fear of losing their jobs. That as President Trump is increasing the pressure on Democrats to concede in their fight for health care benefits not included in the president's budget bill. ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott reports from Washington.
As the government shutdown enters day 15, President Trump now says he will reveal a list Friday of, quote, Democrat programs that he will shut down permanently.
We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So we are closing up Democrat programs.
With federal workers going unpaid, President Trump welcoming his close political ally, Argentina's President Javier Milei, to the White House to announce a $20 billion bailout for his country.
Now, Democrats are taking President Trump to task over his offer to bail out Argentina's economy, while here in the U.S., the federal government is shut down. ABC's Matt Rivers says there's definitely politics behind the $20 billion bailout.
There's no question that there are politics involved here, and I don't think it's unfair to say that Donald Trump would not be doing this with another country whose politics don't align very closely with his own. And that's certainly what you're hearing from Democrats, who are saying at a time that the United States government is shut down, that there's hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers, people getting laid off, that we are, quote, bailing out a foreign country.
If this administration has $20 billion to spare for a MAGA-friendly foreign government, how can they say we don't have the money to lower health care costs here at home?
The timing of it, they say, is not a good look at the very least, and at the worst.
That's Argentina first, not America first.
It's the United States choosing to help a foreign entity over its own people.
Matt tells Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast, Argentina's economy has been in a free fall for more than a decade.
Heavily indebted, huge deflation, currency devaluation. The economy there has been a mess through successive rounds of different governments. The effect on that has been, well, if you're a U.S. tourist, you go down, you spend dollars, you get a really cheap bottle of really good red wine. But for the people of Argentina, it's been horrific, absolutely horrific. They've seen their spending power go way down. It's been a very difficult time.
We want to help Argentina, and we want to always help ourselves, but we want to help Argentina.
As a result, what you're hearing from the U.S. government is we're going to throw them a lifeline. And so this $20 billion, it's essentially a swap of currency. So basically, the United States is buying with U.S. dollars $20 billion worth of the Argentinian peso. The effect of that is to prop up the stability of the Argentinian peso, which is a very volatile currency, and to make sure that it doesn't devalue anymore. This is absolutely a lifeline to the Argentinian economy at the moment. Now, what the United States government is saying is that it's not a bailout, that they're going to pay us back. We don't know the terms of this loan. And we also know that the United States has bought an still undisclosed amount directly of Argentinian pesos. So they actually just went and bought Argentinian pesos in addition to this $20 billion currency exchange. These are very unusual steps for the United States government to take. In fact, the last time that we saw the United States directly intervene in another country's currency in this way was back in 2011 in Japan, after the Fukushima nuclear disaster. So this is not a usual step you see the United States government take, and yet here we are.
But what's in it for the U.S. and President Trump?
We'll start with the administration's argument.
We are not going to ignore our allies.
So they say that the Argentinian economy is an integral part of the global economy, that they see a systemic risk in letting the Argentinian economy collapse.
It is much better to form an economic bridge with our allies, people who want to do the right thing, than have to have shoot at narco gunboats.
And so they see a strategic interest for the United States in doing this. But I don't think that that tells the whole story. Por favor, no usandemi. Who is in charge of the country of Argentina right now? It is an eccentric, out-of-the-box guy named Javier Milei.
The only ones who are going to do badly in my model are the thieving politicians who are the ones who made this country the hell that it is.
He won the presidency there, very conservative, campaigned on a radical approach to changing the Argentinian economy, basically an austerity program, firing workers, cutting government spending. And if that all sounds familiar, well, that's why Donald Trump likes him.
He's MAGA all the way. It's make Argentina great again, I heard.
They are big fans of one another. In fact, Milei is without question the biggest ally that Donald Trump has in South America. It was just yesterday, as a matter of fact, that Milei was in the White House.
I want to tell you that your career has been an amazing one, and it's going to continue with the election.
There's elections coming up on October 26th that could determine the future of the Milei government. Wow. So this is absolutely timed to those elections. The United States blatantly, clearly wants to see him and his party do well in these midterm elections. And so, the timing of this certainly is not a coincidence.
ABC's Matt Rivers with Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast. The shutdown is having a big impact on air traffic controllers. Those in the nation's capital warning the situation could put lives at risk.
As the government shutdown stretches into its third week, air traffic controllers are issuing a dire warning.
This introduces a new risk to aviation. Not knowing exactly how I'm going to have childcare for my kids or put gas in the car or pay the next mortgage payment adds a certain level of stress onto an already stressful profession.
Controllers at Reagan National Airport say the stress of working without a paycheck, in some cases even considering picking up a second job to make ends meet, is putting lives at risk.
That is ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez. You're listening to Midday. Traffic and weather is brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Crews are still working to clean up this crash at the bottom of the on-ramp to southbound I-15 at 21st Street in West Haven. It is over to the shoulder. In Salt Lake County, traffic heavy and slow southbound I-15 going from the South Interchange to 90th South. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, with the temperatures dropping the way they have, it's definitely time to kick that furnace on. And I want to tell you about the folks at Your Service Pros. They've done some great work for me. They've come out, they replaced an AC and a furnace. And if you need a new furnace, you know what? This is the time to do it because the rebates, the federal rebates, the energy efficiency rebates for hybrid systems, they are expiring at the end of the year. So this is the time if you want to take advantage of those. There are also rebates for electrical and from the fuel company as well that they will get. And you know what? At Your Service Pros, they took care of all of that for me, so I didn't have to worry about filing the applications and such. They are they're locally owned. They're family operated. They are 5-star rated and trusted by Utah families for over 20 years. Right now, they know that times are tough, so they're giving you $49 furnace tune-ups, $39 electrical inspections, and $75 off of electrical repairs. We are talking about At Your Service Pros, your pro and go-to for heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. You can call them at 801-YOUR-PRO or visit them at atyourservicepros.com, atyourservicepros.com, or 801-YOUR-PRO.
Many Medicare health insurance plans are cutting back on benefits, reducing coverage areas, or increasing costs. The Medicare annual election period begins October 15th. Legacy Insurance provides local agents you can count on to help you get the most of your Medicare benefits and to be there for you over the years. Call 801-281-0066, 801-281-0066, and ask for a real agent. Currently, Legacy Insurance represents 58 organizations, which offer 93 products in your area. You can always contact Medicare.gov, 1-800-MEDICARE, or your local state health insurance program for help with plan choices. There are significant changes to Medicare plans this year. Learn more or request help from a caring and local professional by visiting them online at BecauseWeProtectYou.com. That's BecauseWeProtectYou.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the Drug Facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the Drug Facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/Drug Facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
It's 2:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL's top story this hour. The ongoing government shutdown is adding to the rising food insecurity here in Utah. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has the story.
Food banks had already been seeing more and more people asking for help because of issues like inflation and the rising cost of housing, but now they expect that to be made much worse as some federal workers are furloughed or missing paychecks, and other people are worried about how long federal food assistance programs will continue.
We don't get government money, but what happens is other groups that do, when that becomes a problem, we kind of catch the spillover.
Glenn Bailey, executive director of Crossroads Urban Center, says they fed 14,000 people last month, and they anticipate that to increase the longer the government shutdown continues. Bailey says they're trying their best to stay stocked.
There really isn't much more that we can do than what we're doing now, because we're pushing to keep up with the demand as it is. And we will certainly continue to do that and try and rely on the goodwill of the community to come up with even more resources.
Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Both sides are still dug in, blaming each other, prolonging the federal government shutdown. ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
House Speaker Mike Johnson blaming the Senate.
Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats want to close the government down. They are gleeful about this.
House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries Wednesday.
Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress have shut down the government 15 days ago.
and they haven't done a damn thing since to try and reopen it.
Dems insisting on protecting Affordable Care Act tax credits and restoring Medicaid cuts. Republicans say they'll negotiate only after the shutdown ends.
Your money at this moment at the close, the Dow down by 17 points, sitting at 46,253. S&P up by 27 points. The NASDAQ up by nearly 0.75%, up by 148 points. The crowd at the Delta Center is expected to be louder and bigger for the Mammoths home opener tonight. There's now 1,100 new unobstructed seats in the lower bowl for hockey games. Smith Entertainment Group executive Jim Olson says all the extra fans will provide a nice boost for the home team.
It definitely helps with the whole experience and the noise, and you know, we're a very steep venue right on top of the ice, and the players notice it, they feel it, and it gives us a great home advantage.
And more seats are coming after this season ends. SCG plans to add more unobstructed seats to the upper bowl. By 2027, there will be close to 17,000 unobstructed seats total for Mammoth games. Well, the wet weather not done with us quite yet. We'll take a look at the forecast coming up next. KSL News Time, 2:32.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This time of year, a little spookiness is fun. But the last thing you want to be scared of is what's collected in your carpets. Did you know up to 40 pounds of dust, dirt, debris, and even fecal matter can build up in them each year? That's enough to make anyone shiver. And it's not just unpleasant to think about. Those particles can affect the air you breathe and the health of everyone in your home. So this season, let Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning take care of your carpets with their patented process that's designed to tackle the buildup you can't see. Zero-Res cleans without harsh chemicals or soapy residue, leaving your carpets safe for kids and pets and helping them stay cleaner longer. Don't be scared of what's hiding underfoot. Schedule your cleaning today at Zerores.com and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $129 and 15% off air duct cleanings. Spelled the same forward or backward, Zero-Res is the right way to clean.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Already seeing slow speeds southbound I-15 going through Riverdale in Weber County and southbound I-15 in Salt Lake County from 53rd South to 90th South in Sandy. Advanced Window Products, $2,500 off, 10 windows or more. AdvancedWindows.com. Affordable windows guaranteed. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We still have an 80% chance of showers across the Wasatch Front tonight. Tomorrow, 40% chance, but a high of only 52 degrees. Then temperature climbing back up into the 60s for the weekend, and the chance of rain disappearing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By Sunday, up to 71 degrees. Right now, 57 degrees. I'm Maria Shilaos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Redistricting is not a done deal just yet in Utah. As a judge prepares to rule on a final map on congressional boundaries, Utah's Republican Party is launching a new ballot initiative. The host of Inside Sources, Holly Richardson, joined me to talk about the Republican initiative that would get rid of Proposition 4.
So there are two things that 6 GOP members have signed on to. It's an initiative to repeal an initiative and a referendum to repeal the map that just got adopted and is being presented to the courts. So what that means is there will be two different things that citizens need to sign on to, and they need about 150,000 verified signatures from a variety of counties across the state of Utah. And what they want to have happen is that on the ballot in 2026, so not this election year, but next year, citizens would again vote for Proposition 4, which passed in 2018, but to repeal it. So saying that you did not understand really what you were voting for, this independent redistricting commission really isn't supposed to be there because it's the legislature's job. So they need 150,000 people to say, yes, I want to put this on the ballot to repeal it. And then they need the same number of signatures to also put on the ballot, we're going to overturn the maps that we just adopted.
So how does this work with what's already going on in court?
It's really going to run simultaneously. So you have the court system that says, according to the law, which is Proposition 4, this has to be done. And this is why we have this new map that is going to be adopted. It's the map that was option C from the legislature. But what this will do is say it's going to completely take that language out of Utah code. So then the judge would not have the ability to say, well, this is according to the law, right? So what it would do is it'll run simultaneously while the court process continues to play out. It will not impact the 2026 election because that will be done on this new map, but it would impact 2028.
Okay. Have you ever seen anything like this before? An initiative to repeal an initiative?
I have not seen that before.
Holly, any final thoughts for us?
Stay tuned. It's really a ride.
No doubt about it. Thanks, Holly.
Yeah.
And again, this new Republican initiative is separate from the ballot initiative that led to a new congressional map that was approved last week. Utah Republican Party Chair Rob Axson says the initiative is all about defending the separation of powers in the state of Utah and ensuring the legislature can make policy.
Reason we're doing this is because this move away from representative government into a space that is more akin to a direct democracy, as well as one that has the state judiciary overstepping their bounds and getting into really the authority and space of the legislature, is inappropriate. And we feel that the people of Utah deserve better. We deserve to be in a space where Republican principles, and by Republican principles, I don't mean Republican Party principles. I mean the spirit and principles of a constitutional republic that they're adhered to, and that separation of powers is something that we continue to defend and promote.
Axson says taking the action is the right thing to do under the state's constitution.
That's the point. We're not a direct democracy. We are a constitutional republic, and those things are polar opposites in the structure of what they look like. While both being types of democracies, our founders as a country were very specific that we are a republic. And the state of Utah affirms that even in its structure, we are a republic. So I'm not going to shy away or be ashamed of that. Instead, we embrace the fact that we are a republic, and we benefit from having individuals, Utahns, men and women, who are elected and accountable to and from the people of Utah.
While he understands there will be Utahns who are opposed to the party's actions, he believes their actions will ensure the judges stay in their lane.
Oh, absolutely. There's always constant conversations in the lead up to any action and after you take any action. And there's going to be people of varying opinions, and that's awesome. That's part of the process. We should be discussing it and collaborating and working together for a step forward. It's obvious that there will be some Utahns who disagree with the actions that are being taken. And again, that's okay. They can have their opinions. But the process is one that we shouldn't shy away from, where you engage, you invite the voters of Utah to come forward and have their voice be heard. and then you lean into the elected representatives of those people. That, again, is the principles of a constitutional republic. We embrace that, and we are going about this in a process that is allowed and built into our state laws and constitution.
And he knows the effort will be difficult in such a short period of time, but he believes in the end it will be worth it.
It's no small task. It's going to require a lot of effort, a lot of work, and a lot of teamwork from Utahns all over the state. But just because something may be difficult or time-consuming doesn't mean that we should ever shy away from it. And I believe that the principles of helping Utah lean into and codify the fact that we are a constitutional republic and not a direct democracy are certainly worth the effort. And staying on the sidelines and not doing that will be to our long-term detriment.
Opponents don't believe that what the Republican Party is doing is right. The executive director of Better Boundaries, Elizabeth Rasmussen, says she's not surprised, but she is disappointed.
I'm feeling a lot of anger and sadness among people on the ground. I mean, we're a grassroots organization. We ran a ballot initiative in 2018. We went through the ballot box, got a majority of Utahns, 500,000, and seeing that they are finding a way to subvert the will of the people by gathering far fewer number of signatures and then going to the legislature, who has been very clear from the beginning they don't want Prop 4, is a problem. And all we want is for Utahns to be represented. And we just don't understand why they can't just respect the people who elected them in the first place.
Rasmussen tells Inside Sources why her group continues to push back against the Republican efforts on the redistricting maps.
And really, when you take party labels off of everything that's happening, what is happening is a group of people in power are deciding to ignore a large number of Utahns who already spoke through the ballot box through an initiative that won't go to the ballot box. It will go to the legislature instead. And so that's the nuance here that is really problematic for us and something we're trying to call out.
And she explains what she thinks the lawmakers are trying to accomplish.
This is an indirect initiative, which instead of requiring 140-ish thousand signatures across 26 out of the 29 site districts, it only requires about 70,000-ish signatures across those districts. And then it goes to the legislature in the next general session to vote yes or no on. The referendum is to call back a law or something that the legislature has passed. I mean, we saw that earlier this year with the effort with Utah, Protect Utah Workers. They're doing it with MAP C. The legislature has passed MAP C, but what's interesting is that's not law yet. It's not adopted. It's just submitted to the court. So I guess they're anticipating it will be accepted by the court, even though they haven't decided on which map will be implemented. And if that's the case and the referendum is successful, they'll say we don't want MAP C, and we kind of have to go back to the drawing board. And so really anything could happen. But the timeline for the referendum is much longer. It will be on the 2026 ballot if they gather the signatures, whereas this indirect initiative, they have to gather the signatures by November 15th. And then it will be, if they're successful there, it will be considered in the session that starts in January.
And she takes issue with the Republican claim that voters didn't understand what they were voting for when they approved Prop 4. She says, at the very least, that's disrespectful.
I trust voters a little bit more, and I can say that as a voter who voted for Prop 4. I was an undergraduate student at BYU at the time. I had learned about partisan gerrymandering. I'd seen it, and I signed it because I believed in this. And so many of our supporters, our grassroots supporters, knew exactly what they were signing. And they have been in this fight with us for 7 years to get it implemented. So to say that they didn't understand it is a huge disservice and honestly very disrespectful to voters. And I just hope the GOP and the GOP party leaders in the legislature would have more respect for voters than that.
And she says the fight is far from over.
We have a great legal team who's working really hard on this. We have great plaintiffs in the case who are also on the ground doing a lot of great work. And we're trying our best to make sure this law is implemented. That's our one and only goal. And so whatever we have to do to make sure that happens, we're ready for the challenge.
And that is the executive director of Better Boundaries, Elizabeth Rasmussen. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Delays already in place on southbound I-15 in Weber County. They go from Ogden to Roy. In Salt Lake County, it's getting bogged down from Murray to Sandy. No freeway accidents, but another day of westbound lane closures on 33rd South between 1100 and 1300 East. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Join Todd and me for the Greenhouse Show, airing live with Community Action Services and the Food Bank at the BYU Cougar Run this Saturday, 8 to 11 at Robinson Field. Come donate food or funds to help BYU and Utah tackle hunger together.
Jim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. That's right. It's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
Jim Weber is here from Foothill Oriental Rugs. And Jim, it's always exciting to have you here because then we know it's the semi-annual sale. First of all, people have been concerned about tariffs. Have the tariffs impacted the price of your rugs?
They're going to in the future for sure. All the rugs in my inventory, the tariffs haven't impacted them at all. So these are pre-tariff prices, and our regular prices are better than anyone in town. So when we put them on sale, it's a real sale price.
So not only is it lovely to be able to come into your gallery and see and feel these rugs, but you really offer a unique experience because they can even try out some of these rugs in their home.
We'll explain different designs to you in different countries of origin. And yes, we recommend that people take rugs home to try them before they make a decision. If you've ever needed a rug, this is a great time to come in and look at rugs because our retail prices are better than the industry on average. And right now, they're marked down up to 70% off.
Don't miss out. The semi-annual sale is underway now at Foothill Oriental Rugs, 1460 South Foothill Drive, just south of Foothill Village.
Rivalry Week is here, and KSL News Radio has your tickets to this year's BYU-Utah game. Tune in every hour and listen for a Cougar keyword. When you hear it, text it to 57500 for your chance to win. We'll pick a new winner each day. The more Cougar keywords you catch, the better chance you have to win. Find details and sweepstakes rules at KSLNewsRadio.com. KSL News Radio, the legacy home of BYU football.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
You were listening to a replay of an earlier episode of Midday with Maria Shilaos. You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. As the temperatures start to drop, many people start to feel it in their bones. More than 32 million Americans suffer from osteoarthritis, making it the most common form of arthritis in the U.S. Today on Health Matters on Midday, Dr. Richard Ferguson explains why so many people suffer from osteoarthritis and what they can do about it.
This happens when the protective cartilage that cushions the ends of our bones wear down over time. So think of cartilage as a shock absorber, and as it thins, bones rub more closely together, causing that pain, stiffness, and swelling that goes along with osteoarthritis. So I tend to sometimes refer to it as the wear and tear arthritis, but inflammation and changes in the bone play a role in this. So although osteoarthritis is more common as we age, it can affect someone younger, especially if they get a repeated injury or an injury to one's joint. So if someone had a car accident, or as I took care of servicemen members that might have needed knee surgery at the age of 28 or 27, disrupting of that natural tissue, having surgery or a total knee replacement at a very young age, that person will develop arthritis at a much younger age. So, and it's also, we have to understand some of the risk factors. So risk is higher in people who are overweight, since that really puts stress on the joint. But let's talk about the cold. So many people with arthritis, they will say their joints feel stiffer or achier when the weather turns cold or damp. And the one key reason is the change in barometric pressure, the pressure of the air around us. So this is often detected when, say, a storm is approaching. So people can think about their great-grandparents or grandparents, and they say, oh, a storm's on the way. And what they're feeling is really this barometric pressure drop before a storm. And so the tissues inside our joints, they may expand slightly, and the nerves already are sensitive in this joint. They pick up this increased pain from that mild joint and tissue change and swelling from that change in pressure. So cold weather can also make muscles around joints tighten, reducing flexibility and adding to the discomfort. So you kind of got two things here. You've got a muscle impact because muscles or joints tighten. The muscles around our joints tighten when it's cold, and they become less flexible, and thus that adds discomfort already to the joint that is already having a bit of increased pain because pressure changes that can occur with cold weather.
Right. What are the first signs? No. That's awesome. What are the first signs of arthritis? I mean, do you have people come to you who are just feeling achy and they're not sure why, and it ends up being something like arthritis?
It can be. So I tend I break it down into the early signs. So one, I look at what I would say is what type. It depends on kind of the presentation of the member. I'm more likely to, if I have someone that is maybe over 55, they were an outdoor laborer or in construction, and they're complaining of pain in their knee, their hip, and their hands and their lower back, and they said it's dull and aching, and the activity gets worse towards the end of the day, that's when I'm more likely to suspect arthritis. If they feel especially a stiffness in the morning, that's when, and it typically lasts about 30 minutes. That also makes me think of arthritis. And then I would say lastly, if they have difficulty with moving the joint fully, so bending the knee, turning the neck, or gripping objects, that also indicates to me that this is early signs of osteoarthritis. And then, of course, one can get sort of this joint grating or clicking. So people may feel or hear a crackling or grating sound when moving the joint. And that's caused by like a cartilage breakdown. But it's more of that morning stiffness, joint pain that's a dull, aching discomfort, usually not sharp. And then there's sometimes you can have mild swelling, which can be an effusion, particularly in the knees, ankles, the hands, and the feet. where you get slightly swollen or puffy due to inflammation.
So what is the treatment for that? Or is there?
Oh, there is treatment. I guess it depends on what severity of osteoarthritis that we are dealing with. So I'd like to break it into, so if someone comes to me and they have, say, the morning stiffness and a bit of the ache, dull ache in their hips or their knees, I will start them off on something as simple as Tylenol once to twice a day, often extra strength, 500 milligrams once to twice a day. After that, I will sometimes progress to a longer acting non-steroidal, such as meloxicam or celecoxib. Those tend to last a little longer. They tend to make people so that they're functioning throughout the day without having to reach for a pill bottle. And then I also recommend low weight bearing activity so that you can kind of move whatever that particular joint is. So if it's a hand, I will sometimes have people get a little bit of a squeeze ball. But if it's their knees, if there's heavy weight bearing joints, knees, ankles, I actually encourage people to do water aerobics or cycling, because you want to kind of smooth out that little bit of cartilage that's in that joint, and it can help take out some of that inflammatory fluid. But yes, short-acting first anti-inflammatories, then long-acting, and then we will progress to low weight-bearing activity. I would then also encourage people to get imaging if it's severe enough that someone might need an injection in the area. So there's certain sort of almost like an artificial liquid that will help to put more cushion in, almost like replace some of the impact of the cartilage that can be done to, say, the knee, the shoulder, and some of our larger joints, even to our hips. But if you're getting to the point where those aren't working anymore, where someone can put a small substance into your joint to try to reduce some of the pain, because you only can do that a few times, next sometimes is surgery to replace the joint, especially depending on how severe the arthritis is. If you're bone to bone and you're in agony every time you move, medications such as an oral pain medication isn't going to do very much. So that's when someone might need the joint replaced.
So don't stop moving. And there are things that can help, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
But it just depends on what stage of arthritis that you have.
Right. Anything else that you'd like to add?
I often tell people the more you know on how severe your arthritis is, especially if you're suspecting it, because it's better to do some lifestyle modification to help with one's arthritis, such as weight management, exercise, even some physical therapy can help. And once again, starting off with short-acting medications, even some topical ones can be good for knees and hands, like diclofenac. So there are options there before you have to get to like hyaluronic injections and supportive devices and things.
Dr. Richard Ferguson is an emergency room doctor and president of the Black Physicians of Utah.
With all the uncertainty in the world today, it's imperative to share an act of kindness. There's